We're gonna zoom in on this stylized version of Mesomasca here, and we are going to head to the Avalanche home. Where you all were on your way in with some news to deliver. And I believe we actually just left off here with you on the bridge itself.
Yes, with the visions of tidal waves and drowning in blood because of a deer.
Yes, a deer crossing a stream. And you never cross a stream.
I don't know if that's metaphorical or what. I'm used to visions, but usually they're easier to interpret. This one didn't make very much sense to me. So, I have to go and find Gintilly, and but I still have to find her. What about everybody else?
No, we do need to. I actually need to survey and see what kind of mess you guys have made, because unfortunately, due to being how would I explain it? Trapped in goop. Okay. Trapped in goop, as it were.
Yes.
I was very much out of commission, so I think the main thing that we need to do right now is go into damage control and see what actually needs to be done.
Alrighty, then. All of you were here, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like everyone's together now.
Me and Celine should be at the tavern.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Oh yeah. You were gonna stay behind because Celine was still kind of out of commission, and the others were gonna go. So yes, thank you for that reminder. Because Norlai wanted to do some bonding with Celine, and Celine.
I want to go talk to people.
Well, all right.
Go, girly bonding time. I can get behind this.
All right, then if you two want to do some collusion behind the scenes, I give you my solemn vow as your DM that I will not have you assaulted by vampires while you're staying at the Tumbled Wench. So if you want to do any sort of any bonding side role play or whatnot, we can touch upon it, and then you can do that together while I'm getting these three through talking about things with Gintilly and Geroff and the others.
Yeah, I think that works perfectly.
Okay. Alrighty, so Bright is going to head off to go talk to Gintilly, or do you want to be here when Jade and Mordecai are entering the Avalanche home to talk to Geroff?
I have to find Gintilly as soon as I can.
Okay. Alright, so Bright is, you know where her house is. You hobble over in that direction. So that is going to leave Jade and Mordecai at the front door of the Avalanche family house.
Jade starts to walk up towards the house, and every so often her eyes go to Mordecai, seeing if he's keeping in step, though her feet are heavy. She ends up walking towards the door, and with a hesitant gesture, she knocks and just waits, though she backs away from the door a bit. Actually, if Mordecai is keeping step, she might even take a step actually behind him.
Okay. That's fair. Okay. So Jade knocks, and there is a sound from behind the door, like, just a moment! And Jade is going to step behind Mordecai. The door creaks open, and there is one of the Avalanche family who is here and looks out. Oh, you're the gentleman who was playing the music during the birth.
Yes.
And is there someone behind you?
Oh, that's Jade.
Oh yes. She was the one who was She was the one talking to Geroff. Oh, old Geroff.
Where's the old man?
Yes, well, he's by the fire. He's in his favorite rocking chair, and we've put a blanket on him. I don't know if he's doing so well, but then again, he really hadn't been. He refuses to go lay down in a bed. You're welcome to come in. I'll let him know that you're here. Please, walk in. And so the woman takes off further into the house as you're in the foyer there, and there's a couple other people that are going back and forth. Somewhere in the house, you can hear a baby crying, and then the woman peeks her head around into like the foyer or the mud room that you were in, where you're taking your shoes off, and he is awake. Please come in.
We do.
On the interior, then, we are going to...
I kind of look over to Jade and just kind of look at her a little bit and say, were you going to handle this? You seem kind of closer to this guy.
I'll handle it.
As you go in, the smell of food and smoke is filling the air. The weather is cold and crisp, so there's a couple little cool drafts that tickle you where the warmth is otherwise filling the place. And there's Geroff, and he's rocking in his chair by the fire. He's underneath a very nice quilted blanket, and it has it looks like this is one of those quilts that have been like a patch has been sewn on every time a family event occurs, like a marriage or a death or something. So it's a tapestry telling the family story of everyone who's been a part of the avalanches in some way or shape, maybe even a form, but I don't know. You'll have to roll a perception for that. And he makes he lifts his hand, and he makes a very kind of a weak gesture to you to come over.
Jade starts to walk, whether Mordecai comes or not. She just seems to be distant, cold. As she ends up near approaching the old man, she, rather than sits near across from him, she just kind of leers, almost like she's the devil, proverbial devil on his shoulder. And just continues to speak in those hush whispers.
I'm glad that you were able to get out of those mines. It's a dangerous line of work to be in there. I appreciate you having gone in.
Hold your praise, old soldier. Hold your praise. I would rather not hear them.
Were you able to find Kencord?
No. Instead, what we found was abominations wearing the folks of Browbeat skin. And I fear his fate might be more of the same. And no matter where we looked, Stuart, no matter where we had our eyes fall upon in those righteous abominations, it just... I could not accomplish the task, old soldier.
I understand. So he may live, just not as he once did.
That is not living! That can never be living! That is a infestation in the veins. It is something that should not be. And now he is what should not be. Because of me! It was because of me!
He reaches up. His milky eyes open up. And he touches your cheek and your hair. There now, Jade. You may be responsible, but I don't begrudge that. Many of us are responsible for many things that happen in life. Your measure as a woman is what you do with that responsibility. I have been responsible for many things in my life, and now as I lay here, well, sit, I'm not laying down just yet. Again, you almost see like that puff of dust and like the moth coming out of his mouth. I can't allow myself to have regrets, despite being at the end of my life's journey. And my sweet Jade, I don't want you to carry that extra burden of regret yourself.
It was the thing that was supposed to be, and I find it unacceptable because it was made. It was left. I couldn't finish the job. I wasn't strong enough to finish the job. And instead, I end up wandering, trying to play roles that are not mine. Not mine to play, but no. Now we continue to step forward and hope that will form me some degree of good, but it is pathetic! It is small! It is rotten and falling to pieces, and we can see it. We can see it, and we can't make it stop. It will never stop! Never stop.
No, Jade.
Never.
The toil never stops. No matter how strong you get, no matter how many pieces of information you gather in your life, it will never be enough. Which is why, Jade, you must be happy with who and what you have in your life now. I forgive you, but that doesn't mean anything unless you can forgive yourself. But only you are capable of such a thing, Jade. If my words hold any meaning.
To most it would be touching, old man. To much it would. But forgive? No. We're far past that. We're far past the steps once we ended up taking on the form and placing ourselves so that the wheels kept on turning because there was no other option. And now we will continue. Now I walk amongst them, and my role will change. My role will change again. This individual disappears once I leave that Browbeat. Jade, you knew, goes away because that role is no longer required. There will be nothing left but ash and regret.
I understand, Jade. As much as a man like me, an old tottering man like me can understand. I do. I don't discount your feelings. It's easy for me to say that there will be a better day ahead. I've lived through it. But does that mean it'll happen to you? I'd like to imagine so, Jade. But only you are going to be able to have that day come. Are you going to get to die by a warm fire surrounded by your family? Or will you choose a different route?
Don't talk to me about family, old man. I gave you that courtesy which I cannot have. Please, if you have a kindness for me at all, never speak of that again.
I believe that I'll be able to grant your wish soon enough, Jade. Now, the other one with you. I can feel him. He has a presence. His tail swishes responsibly in my household to not knock things over.
Yes.
Come forward. You are the one who was singing, yes?
Yes, I was.
And he holds out his liver spotted, his kind of shaking hand to you. Let me feel the hand of a minstrel.
I'm gonna take his hand.
And so he'll clasp it. It's so cold. And yet... it's interesting, and he'll let your hand go. And you could feel like your hand sandwiched between his. I mean, here's a man who has worked and toiled his whole life. He has calluses, and even though he's he's an old man in his twilight time here, he still has a subtle strength to his hand. Like you can see also just like his veins and everything. Just your hands are so soft, and yet you are a man of skill. I don't get to. Well, I probably won't get to meet too many more of your kind. It's interesting to explore everything the world offers. For the longest time, I looked down on people like you, on dandy fops who just flitted from bar to bar, singing their tunes and getting scraps that others had given them from their own hard work. But having gotten out and seen the world, as I could see it, and he kind of waggles his eyebrows and his milky eyes open up, but I learned a great deal. There are people like you who... There are things that you let us see, and then I think there's a great many more things that we will never know about you, about your toils and your struggles, about just what it was like to grow up in a world that would only ever see you as a dandy fop. And yet here you are, albeit with not as much warmth as I would have expected a man of such expression. But here you are. I wanted to say thank you for your kind words and singing at the birth of my grandson.
It was an epic moment that needed to be lived. And it's dandy fops like myself that continue stories.
Yes, and you also challenge old rocks like me to try and be a better person ourselves, when all we see around us is the grays and browns of stone and earth. Your type bring color into our world and remind us that there is more to life than just the struggle.
It's ironic that you say that, old man. I am full of color.
I believe you, although I wish that you would warm up some, you poor lad. You can sit by my fire if you'd like.
I would appreciate that.
And he calls over the woman who led you in further. Mossflower, please. And she leans down and he kind of whispers something, and she nods and or no, I'm sorry, Mossflower is the one who gave birth. This is Rinny Avalanche, who is a younger girl, and she scampers off, and he tells you all that this time means a lot to him, and that he does want to give you each something that will be a gift from him to you for at least trying your best in order to recover Kencord. So the little girl comes back, and brings in a little basket, sets it in his lap, and he pats the girl on the head, and she scampers off. Jade, I wish for you to have this. And he feels around in the basket, and he grabs something, and he says, "Hold out your hands below where mine are. I trust you." And he drops a metal rectangle into your hand. That, Jade, that was the harmonica that I would play when I worked in the mines. Oh, the songs we'd sing as we dug. It made our toils less burdensome. I hope that perhaps you would take some time to learn to play my harmonica and to discover what it might bring to you. Mordecai. He reaches in, and with two hands, he holds out a book. Not a comic ordering catalog, but just roll with it. Take this, Mordecai. And
what is it?
It looks like a well, on the cover it's an instruction book on how to mine, how to best labor, how to best survive in case of an emergency. So it's a practical manual. It's a practical manual on toiling and working and mining. And for you, this line of work may never be something for you, but I want you to read that book, and I want you to understand what it is like for those of us who have lived as we have. And perhaps in your own way, by studying the forces, the thoughts, and the lifestyles that we have lived for so many years, working the earth, it will provide you growth and inspiration.
Thank you, good sir. We'll treasure it.
And he holds out his hands to each of you and asks that you clasp them. And as you do, he utters a miner's prayer. That is not necessarily a purely religious invocation, but a sentiment of hope for success, hope for striking riches, and ultimately hope for a greater community in which we all live. And he tells you all, "You're welcome to stay, though I think that it's about time for me to take another nap. It's probably been, maybe 20, 30 minutes since my last one." And he laughs and kind of chokes a little bit on that. And he his arms kind of he pulls them back and rests them on his chest as he leans back in his chair, and very, I mean, maybe it'd be concern otherwise, but knowing his state, it does seem to be that he's taking shallow breaths. Jade, you did provide him this potion, and it did in fact invigorate him, though, like many things, it is fleeting. Oh, Kames Pact, thank you very much for the 50 bits. And welcome, Kames Pact. Yeah, mining for dummies, mining for simpletons is the name of the book. Yeah, catching up on chat here because I was role playing with my eyes mostly closed, or at least looking ahead. So, all right. So with that, you are going to be resting or doing something. If you'd like a bite to eat, the family can provide it. But otherwise, you have a shallow wheezing rasp from an old man sitting by a fireplace. Let's go over to Bright. who is in the same neighborhood but is in a different home. Bright, you find Gintilly's house, and it smells like there are many things that are cooking. Very delicious dwarven food as usual.
Okay, I guess I better go in. I'll knock on the door, see if someone comes to answer it.
Yeah, just a moment. And you hear some clink clanks of pans and dishes, and just another moment, and some more clinks and clanks.
Okay, I have lots of moments.
A couple more moments pass, and then you hear, and there's Gintilly. The kind of, well, for a dwarf in appearance, like a middle-aged, like a very mom look. And she is wearing, a kerchief in her bountiful hair, so it's pulled back. She has the apron that even has like the little frills on it too, and she is covered in flour, and you see food stains, and she even has like the one little like shock of hair that's sort of like coming down out of the kerchief, and she looks like she has been just having a day in the kitchen. And so she actually didn't even have to look down, perhaps refreshing for you, Bright, when she opens up, since you're almost eye to eye. Oh, it's you? Oh, I love talking. Do you have news? Please, come in. I am still cooking, but you can talk while I bake, yeah?
I have news. I'll come in.
And so she tries to wipe off her hands on her apron, but honestly, her apron is just as dirty as her hands. So she'll still offer you a hand in greeting, and
Okay. That's okay. I'll shake her hand.
okay. You have a lovely coating of flour on your hand
Okay.
and wrist.
And then I prestidigitate.
As she walks, you almost see like this like comet trail of flour and sugar and other things just sort of like coming off of her that are blowing off of her clothes as she's making her way quickly back into the kitchen. And you can see that she has indeed been cooking, and has probably been cooking for a good long while. Pans and everything are going.
Mrs. Gintilly, I see that you're making quite a feast. What are you making?
Oh dear, well, you should know, talking woman to woman, this is what we call stress cooking.
You might be cooking a lot, then.
Oh yeah, I have. My larder's almost empty. I've been making so much food. It's good for distraction.
I think, okay, I think you missed what I was trying to say. You might end up cooking even more. Can we go sit down?
She looks at you, looks around. Yeah, I can. Can you help me cut the cookies?
I can help. I can do those things.
So she hands you an assortment of little cookie cutters, that are in various shapes and sizes, and she grabs some dough and whatnot, and sits down, and she starts rolling it out, and the look on her face, you don't need insight to know that she seems rather stressed, and is rather concerned, but she's at least trying to be a good host, and is rolling out the dough. There you go now. Thank you, Bright. You may cut out the shapes as you will, but do try to, preserve some spaces between.
Okay, I'll cut 3 at a time, one with each hand and one with the mage hand.
Okay, so Bright's just sitting there with dun, 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 da, 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 dun, 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 da, 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 da. As you're making little mining picks and little rocks and little little shapes that would be appropriate for dwarves in a mining community here, little mountains. So you're there cutting, and she's doing the same, and a couple times it looks like she's gonna say something, and then she looks back down, and she looks back up, and Something happened, yeah?
I don't know how to tell you. And I'm used to delivering bad news, but usually I deliver it before it happens, so this is kind of different for me. But so I need to tell you that that Lycup, she's probably not coming back from the mine. I feel like you kind of had a sense of that.
She would have come home if she was back. And the fact that she's not... And as she starts crying, you can see that her tears are leaving like actual like her flesh color on her cheeks, because it's picking up like the loose flour and sugar and whatnot that has been like poofed up onto her face. She can't have any extra ingredients getting into the cookies now, yeah.
Here, do I have anything that can be a tissue? All I have is some parchment. have a parchment. You can blot your tears with this.
That's gonna be rough.
Okay, so
it's the best I have.
She you hand her that, and her eyes, her dwarven eyes, just kind of get all big, wobbly, like anime tear eyes, and and she holds the parchment, and she blows her nose, and she says, "Thank you, dear." And when it turns around, you have an impression of her face, made in flour and tears, as she hands it back to you. And it does kind of look like almost like a dragon breathing some smoke or something out of its nose from where she blew it. Thank you, dear. Thank you. But I have to ask.
I can fix this even with prestidigitation, so it's yours now. You can keep it.
Thank you. Can you tell me? You're not in jail, so I couldn't have been responsible. But can you tell me what happened?
Well, I'll tell you what I can. I was there the whole time. So the mine, it's not just a regular mine anymore. I mean, that's why it's because we thought there might be cave-ins or things that she could help with. But it turned out it was just filled with things she was really just in danger the whole time. It wasn't a disaster at all. It wasn't an avalanche or cave-in. It was filled with monsters. It was filled with vampires and bad fairies and a dragon, and lots of bad things. And she was just in over her head. So we were exploring the mine, and we couldn't even take her back to the entrance because it sealed off behind us after we went in. And then we got into a place where there were all these crystals, and they were magic crystals, but we didn't know they were magic crystals yet, although they kind of looked magic, but we didn't know for sure. And she touched one of the crystals, covered her up with itself, like she turned into a big crystal too. And we tried to save her, and we were able to save her the first time, but she got hurt while we were saving her, and the crystals came back.
Mm-hmm.
Who put her in a crystal, and we couldn't save her that time. There were too many monsters, and we couldn't get to her in time. So she got covered in a crystal and turned into.
Is she still a crystal? Could I have her and put her in the living room?
It's not that kind of crystal. Also, it'd be really dangerous to have these crystals around. No, we didn't actually see what happened, because after she got captured by the monsters, we couldn't get to her, and we had to leave her behind. And that's the worst part, because it's not just that she died, because we've had 2 of our friends die in the same time, but actually 3 technically 3, but really just 2. I don't know how to explain. But died, but it wasn't a good death. I know it wasn't the sort of death that you would have wanted for her. If I understand how dwarves dwarves are.
She always liked the fairy tales, but I never thought that they'd be coming true. The war is bad enough, but now you're telling me all these fantastic things of vampires and dragons and it's so much. What kind of a world is going on around us? I say.
Well, that's a good question. We're trying to figure that out too. All I can say is that we're going to try our very hardest to solve that mystery and find out. And I don't know if we'll be able to get her back, but there's still... It's not a very good chance, I have to be honest, but there's still a chance.
You've been honest with me, Bright, and from what the fairy tales say, your kind can never lie.
That's totally true.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Oh, I'm going to need some time, I think, to continue baking, although if you're feeling a bit responsible for things, I could always use some help.
Of course, I'll help you with whatever you need.
And so, Bright, she's gonna go and get you a cooking apron, and is gonna give one to you, and you're gonna spend some time in her kitchen.
Okay, Miss Gintilly, if you'll give me just about 10 minutes, I think I can speed things up a little more. Does that make sense? A little bit of investment now for more payoff later. We can still talk.
Sorry, 1 second here. All right. Can you say it one more time? I had to type something real quick. Sorry about that.
I want to take about 10 minutes before we get started. We can still talk. So.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna summon. You're gonna summon Betsy.
Betty. Yeah.
Betty.
Betty.
Okay. What are you doing for? What are you doing for your frog? Still?
Yeah. I have a frog now.
Okay, I love it.
I don't know. I mean, I could summon up the frog to help, but I wasn't sure if she would appreciate it, so I left my frog hiding away. But
okay.
Yeah, frog can come up. Her name is still Peggy Sue. She'll just sit. This isn't working very well.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, that's better. But I don't think she'll be much help. She'll just be here for moral support.
Kames, thank you very much for that. Kames, as you are you are a fickle god. You say summon Biddy. What would you like to do with your... How would you like to influence the game in some way? And while you do that, so she's going to give you a... it's a dwarf proportion cooking apron, so yeah, it's pretty okay. She just has to, loosen things up. You summon your invisible or your unseen servant as well. And you begin baking. She's teaching you different recipes. And over this course of time, she's going over... She has moments where she just stops and she sobs. And then other times she seems to recover and get back into it. And as she's talking and going over recipe books, she tells you that she would want you to have the recipe book that Lycup was making from her mother's own book. And so she gets the idea that you're pretty good at reading instructions that are written down in a book. I don't know where you're going to develop that sort of skill set.
That's That seems like something I could do.
But she does. She gives you a dwarven recipe book, and it has some sketches in it. And those are because part of the challenge was to also draw out the food to try and envision the end creation, and in order to better prepare what you're making. And so you actually have Lycup's recipe book that's based on her mom's. Although any recipe adjustments, for instance, like if Lycup likes something spicy, chat was talking about ghost peppers and whatever. So if Lycup likes spicy stuff, even though her mom's recipe wouldn't call for it, this is now Lycup's recipe, and so Lycup would have a spicy recipe and different drawings and such. And so you are going to receive Lycup's recipe book, Bright.
Okay. Well, that's really nice, Miss Gintilly. So I know you said whoever's dinging, stop dinging. I know you wanted to have a good crystal that turned into, but I don't have that crystal. But I have this one, and it's kind of similar. It's something that I picked up along the way, and I hope. So I'll give her the crystal. I know it's a re-gift, but I'm not going to tell her that.
Okay. All right. All right. Now we go over to Noralai and Celine. It looks like I need to reset my my settings again because I'm not getting Celine's camera feed.
Yeah, no, my camera was screwing up a little, but if you refresh, you should fix that up.
Okay. Yep, there we go. All right. So you two are back. You're bonding together at the Tumbled Wench. In fact, we'll even take you over there. Is there anything we don't need to go through a full list of what was gone over, but did you come up with some kind of a goal, a plan? Did you find some mutual ground together as characters? What's the abbreviation?
I think
So,
you can go.
oh, okay. Sorry about that. So,
There you are.
Camera. Be good. So the main thing was that Celine would have been unconscious after her rather large internal battle with the power in the goop.
Yep.
And the main thing is I'm guessing she would have been up in her room, and Lorelai would have been making sure that that she didn't die in her unconscious state or whatever, and she would wake up and ask what's going on, because she doesn't remember very much outside of what was like after Mordecai died and came back and they were fighting the dragon, and then she got gooped on and made a very funny quip about usually people ask me out to dinner first.
All right.
So she'd wake up and she'd turn to Nala. She's like, okay, what happened? And like there'd be a discussion of what happened, and Celine is now currently in a very, very salty mood because, well, the good news just keeps coming, doesn't it?
Yep. It doesn't stop.
She's like, right, well, I suppose going after Tipper is the thing that we need to do, on account of that's kind of our next stop. So if we don't have him we're kinda not really doing anything, and I'd rather not make an enemy as a mask. I think. Thank you very much.
Norlai, as you're talking to Celine about this, you know, as you're catching up and speaking, every so often Celine's eyes kind of get like a scintillating, like a color shift to them, and then they'll go back to her normal self.
Oh, that's doubly scary, because Celine's eyes are normally heterochromatic. One. Oh, and now she's got two things!
I just keep looking, I was like, is that right? You don't know thaumaturgy, do you?
So, Celine, your eyes are pointed out by Norlai, and this is, you can even catch this, you know, there's a small mirror and a wash basin, that you have access to here in the Tumbled Wench, and every so often you do see that, while it doesn't affect your vision, your eyes get like a color-shifting scintillation to them, and then they'll go back to... They'll go back to normal for you.
Oh, goody! So now the goop is affecting me too. Joy of joys!
And
Welcome to my world.
Geez, I've been incapacitated for a couple of hours. Everything goes to crap, and now I'm not even a half of anymore.
and you know, splash some water on your face, kind of. You're looking in the mirror, making sure your contacts are still in place.
Oh, that's funny. I'll pay that. That's funny.
And
It's not so bad.
and you catch in the window behind you, you see a little like flying figure that is outside the window and kind of goes tee hee hee and woo flies off.
Not this one.
Yeah, not that one.
Celine murmurs a curse in Draconic about damned pixies and their damned antics, and yeah, no, she's in a very salty mood right now.
I mean, your eyes changing colors, you know, it's not that bad. I can do that. I guess thaumaturgy.
Oh. Yep.
She turns to you with a deadpan expression and raises a brow. It's like, yes, you're a magic caster. I get it. The thing is, this is not normal for me. I'm not doing anything to cause this.
Are you sure?
And if
It's not like...
well, see, the entire thing is, if that's happening, what else is happening?
I don't know.
Because I don't want a pixie in my brain.
How would it get in there?
Norlai, you hear whispered in your ear from somewhere through her ear.
I guess that would work.
Wait, what would work?
If a fairy went in your ear.
Celine, there's a little head that's just sort of like peeking in through the window.
Celine just points to the little head, and she's like, "You can piss."
Well, now you're yelling at windows.
It's like, oh, they're gonna see me. I mean, I'm not the most mentally stable, but even so.
It might actually be. Okay, that's all.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
Noralai, would you like to investigate the window that's taunting Celine?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I just think she's yelling out a window.
Well, to be fair, it's probably forcing a bunch of updates on her that she can't delay or put off to the side, so... And then right in the middle of casting, it's just going to reset, so...
Damn Windows 10.
Yeah. Okay, so Noralai is having fun. Celine slowly slip into ever descending, spiraling madness, and Celine, there is a there's now a little on the window.
She'll look over to the window.
Little finger. It's making like a hey, come over here.
I'm gonna regret this, but okay. She's gonna go over to the window.
Okay. You see? I mean, you see out the window. There, there's the street. People are going back and forth, doing stuff. There's nothing directly outside the window, though. And then it makes a bit of a like a rattle in the window frame, and the little lock is shaking. Like the little you have a loop, and then it kind of goes whoop, and then it holds the window.
Yep. I'll open the window, I suppose.
Okay. Noralai, the window's opened by Celine, and Celine's wonderful, silken black hair kind of gets a gentle, like a Disney princess treatment, where it just sort of like flows, and it doesn't act actually how long hair would in reality, which is fly in your mouth and get tangled and everywhere.
Yeah.
And once more, there's a as a creature flies right inside the room, and starts spinning around, and it looks just a lot like a glittering, like a kind of a glittery disco ball with wings, as it's flying around the top of the room.
Do you see that, Yori?
It does, and it's kind of like coiled and watching as a predator might.
You know what? If the snake is down to eat it, then I'm not gonna complain.
Hey! Hey! No! No eat! No eat!
You heard it, no eat.
And the little ball sort of like stops, and a little hand kind of gives you like a Sonic the Hedgehog, like nuh-uh. No eat.
It's like, okay, look, what are you doing here? I have had not really the best experience with the Fae in recent days. So forgive me if I am a little bit on edge.
And it's now sort of floating on its wings between you two, Celine and Noralai. And its fabulous brightness dims, and it takes on more of a humanoid form. Though it does have the scintillating, like, insectoid eyes, and even two cute little antennae that kind of like twitch around, as it's very dainty. I mean, it has more or less the anatomy of like a Barbie doll, but it doesn't feel the need to cover up, because it is what it is. So, here's the thing. I have been sent to watch you. No, wait, that's not right. I have been sent to watch through you. Yes, That's right.
If that involves you going anywhere near my ears or getting inside me, you can think again.
Oh, no, of course. I wouldn't need to physically be inside you. I already have been. Well, not physically, but that is more magically. I've been able to use certain things to be able to get inside you.
What did you do to me while I was unconscious?
Oh, well, it's a wonderful story. You see, and it's like talking a mile a minute, just and in a language that you probably can't understand. But it's just going through the motions of this. It gets to a point where like you're listening to a sim talk in The Sims. It probably even tells a joke. And it's just sort of going around. Noralai, this thing comes up to you. Oh, your hair's pretty. Can I touch it? And it's already touching your hair. What's this thing? Is this a snake? And it pokes the snake, and then it sort of like hisses back at the snake.
Hey, don't give me the yoy. He's had a long day.
He's had a long day, huh? He's had a long day. Apparently, I had pixies inside me. I feel violated.
Yeah, well, he died.
Celine, I don't like your clothes. I like Noralai's better. Can you please wear those? Hers are brighter.
No.
Yes.
You would look so cute in these clothes.
I know, right?
I don't have an extra pair, but I know where to find some.
Why are you taking inside? Also, as for your snake, everything dies eventually. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I should know.
Oh, no. Celine, I doubt you're gonna die. Well, not yet, anyway. Not as you are.
Why are you...
But anyway, yes. So Orlans had sent me. You had apparently challenged Orlans in order to look at things through the eyes of people, and you counted enough as a person because you still were one, and so that's what's going to happen. And I'm going to go tell Orlans what has been going on and your opinions on the world, even though they're probably not correct.
What?
Yes. Good.
Selena just... What?
Now, don't worry.
What is this?
I can turn invisible so people can't see me, even though I can see you. And see through you.
Oh, joy. Oh, joy. No privacy. That's also wonderful.
Privacy?
What's
privacy?
I mean, it's like you violated my bodily autonomy. You're going to violate my privacy. What else? What am I going to have left?
Probably not much.
Yeah, no, I figured as much.
I mean,
I'm gonna put. I'm gonna put this to you as nicely as I possibly can.
Yeah.
If you get too much in my way, I am going to kill you. There is no ifs. There is no buts. I will kill you.
Dying tickles.
I don't think it would.
Well, wait, really? Dying tickles?
Yeah.
Celine just very slowly takes out a notebook and
I can tell you all about death. Oh, I've seen it in all ways, shapes, and forms. Some of them have been really funny too.
Basically, pulls a pen like what would be an inkpot and quill out and dab.
Ah, now you want some information, huh? Well, do we have a deal?
Okay. I'm gonna need some time alone. But...
Alright, Noralai, you heard her.
But
We're gonna need some time alone.
No,
not right now. I mean, just going to need some alone time. Referring to you. I mean, as far as the tiefling goes, Noralai, was it?
Yeah.
You know, that, I could go either way, but just sometimes I will need some alone time away from you, but for the most part, fine. If it'll dragon thing leave me alone.
Yeah, that dragon thing is scary.
could have just, you extraplanar creatures need to learn to keep your affairs to your actual planes instead of spilling out under the mortal plane. We are not your damn battlefield.
You want to be alone from me too?
Sometimes.
Well, I'll have you know, the less
sometimes.
time that you let me get into your brain and experience the world, the longer I'm going to be around, because I have to get a certain amount of stuff before I can go.
Listen, I'm not talking about a lot. I'm just talking about sometimes. You see,
that's fine. But, and she goes up and like pushes him or her. It's hard to tell because again, you have like Barbie doll anatomy here. It pushes a little finger up to your lips. Shh. I haven't got to experience anyone eating or heck, even drinking, getting drunk, or even pooping for a good long while. Do not deny me this opportunity. It has been way too long.
Oh no! That's not what I'm talking about. Eating, drinking, and defecating. That's fine. It's more other things that I'm not going to explain.
Like,
okay?
Eyebrows just sort of like almost comically even like lift like magically off of the brow and then kind of go back down.
Nora's
Fine.
just gonna lean in and be like, "Do you like someone?"
Tell you what. I'll give you a little bit of time. Noralai?
Mm-hmm.
You have an animal? Right? Oh, I see. It's changed. Tell you what. Because I'm going to be going with you, I can be invisible, and I can fly. Though sometimes that's not always the best. Especially because I may not always be able to be invisible. It's weird. Anyway, if this helps, and it changes shape into a small blue fox about the size of a cat. So like a tiny small blue fox. I'll follow you around in this form. No one will ever know anything is odd.
Can I pet you?
Well, I mean, at the very least, it's easier to explain that I picked up a familiar somewhere. So
we're gonna be very familiar, Celine. I promise.
Can I pet you?
That does not fill me with confidence, but okay.
Looks up, Noralai. You can pet me, but you have to come to me.
Okay.
Now, Celine, as a part of this, I was told that you are the one to give me my name. And so I need you to tell me what I'm called.
Oh crap, okay. I did not know that was gonna happen. Alright, let me think.
Names are hard sometimes.
How about... Well, I mean, I would choose a name, but what? Like, do you prefer masculine or feminine? Masculine or feminine?
Either's fine. I could be whatever you want. I'd tell you about the third option, but I don't think you can comprehend it.
Try me.
Oh, you're not Fey enough in order to understand that just yet.
It's just like I understand neutrality and androgyny when it comes to those things. I was a surgeon for a very, very long time. I've done quite a large amount of study.
Well, you tell me what you want to be. I mean, wait. You tell me what you want me to be, and it's fair because I'm using you in order to understand your life by violating your privacy constantly.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of don't have a choice in the matter because, you know, I come out of this absolutely changed either way. So, you know, your name shall be... Yes, that's a good name. Your name shall be Jack. And it's spelled with a Q instead of a CK, because why not?
Jack, sure.
Thank you for the name, TJ Fate. I actually couldn't come up with one. I was blinking so hard just then.
All right. My name is Jack.
So, what are we gonna? So how do we do this?
You don't need to do anything. I actually just need you to live life and pretend like I'm not even here. And then I'm going to follow you around and look through your eyes and hear through your ears and feel through your fingers and everything else. Because I'm going to experience the world that you claim is different than the one that we know that already exists and is coming. And the little fox is like on the bed, kind of going in a figure 8, and is like looking and sniffing around at stuff.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to tell the others about this.
Oh, you want me to? I'll go do it right now.
No.
It disappears.
I wonder how they'll take that.
And hey, Celine, at least you're alone. Well, you have Noralai in the room and Yori, but you don't have this creature.
Yay! I mean, I said Noralai. I mean, in the context of that, she was thinking of Noralai being in the room. Well, then that could go either way. But
Noralai, as you have a moment of peace away from Jack, you feel a, well, maybe you'd have it on you. You feel a kind of a warmth, in your pocket.
Yeah. Yori?
And, the gem that the Guildmaster gave you is glowing slightly.
That's not normal.
And as you're looking at it and you look down, it seems to be resonating with the gem that's in your chest.
cue a magical girl transformation in T-5.
Yep. Celine, do you know anything about gems?
I know things.
That's the most specific, non-committal answer. It's a definite maybe.
Well, I got this gem from the leader over at the guild, or the paperwork. I told you about. But it's glowing now, and I got this here, and she just kind of like peeks a little. I got this here, and that's glowing too.
All right, let me let me take a look.
The two gems seem to be like glittering and sparkling together.
I mean, it's kind of pretty.
Could I make like an Arcana or a History check on this?
I think we're firmly in Arcana territory here, so go ahead.
Arcana would be that. That's a 16.
All right. Well, the gem is resonating with whatever this crystal, which might be a shard of this odd crystal that was growing in the cavern. It's resonating in its own way, and that is indicative in magical senses of either creating, storing, or something about some kind of like an energy transference. As a lot of gems are often used because of their value, their common sentiment of having precious value, or are things that are expensive or rare, as a magical like a focus or something along those lines. And this one seems to be lighting up and syncing up with Noralai's like chest crystal. So there could be some kind of a reaction going on between the two. You could try putting them together and seeing what happens.
Yeah. Well, so that one's glowing they're both glowing together, which signifies that there's some kind of energy transference reaction going on between the two.
That's a
It
lot of
seems that in terms of that, it seems that they might be cut of the same cloth. That is, that they are both suitable conduits for your particular kind of arcane energy, or that one is holding energy and is transferring it to the other. Try touching them together.
Okay. Think.
When that happens, there is a crimson flash that fills the room. And, Noralai, you are surrounded in a swirl of ruby sparkles. As the gem in your hand disintegrates and swirls around you before being, pulled into the gem in your sternum. And, you feel a little like you feel a little bit like a rush. You're winded, not like you're dying or someone like punched you in the solar plexus or something. But whew, that was quite a rush, and you seem to have been able to absorb this gem, and for it, you are feeling a little stronger, a little bit more adept. Celine, you see that her ruby that she was holding on to is no more. I think it was a ruby, right?
It was violet.
It was violet. It was an amethyst. All right, so I'm sorry. You had an amethyst crystal glitter sparkle. Celine, look, you can't get rid of glitter. There's probably going to be some amethyst glitter dust in the room forever now, but whatever. But it had a reaction, and Noralai actually seems to not be affected in some drastic way. Then again, too, as a specimen, while it does kind of have like a little puckered scar tissue or kind of like a look to it surrounding the crystal embedded in her chest, she also hasn't been turned to crystal herself when she was being held in the caves beneath the mountain. Now, as a quick note, since we've now gone through all 5 of you, this is your bridge into becoming level 5 characters. So you have leveled up in your own ways. You have received items or powers or advice or other worldly means that you have been able to incorporate now and in the future into yourselves. And so your characters will be level 5. I mean, during the session, sure, but definitely for next session, you're level 5 as you are continuing to go through the world.
Norlai's, she's gonna be like, whew, and then she's gonna look around and be like, oh no, I needed that job. It's gonna make money.
All right, now let's go over to Bright. You are cooking along. You're cooking alongside a bereaving dwarven mother, which means that just as you predicted, she did cook a whole lot more. There's a bit of a scratching at the door, and she tells you, "Oh, dearie, please go ahead and mind the muffins. I'll go get it." She hobbles out, and comes back in. Bright dear, is this blue creature yours? It says that it belongs to you, and well, I was apt to believe it. And you see that there's a cat-sized blue fox that just sort of hobbled into the house.
That's not one of mine, although I can understand the confusion because I do tend to collect lots of little animals, but not that one. I don't know that one. Sorry.
The blue fox looks at the dwarf, looks at you, Bright, and is going back and forth. It tries to make a very, like, yip, but it's saying yip instead of actually yipping. Sorry, I just, I'm very bad at this. I don't really know animal noises.
It's okay. I can probably understand your animal. It depends on if you're cute enough. Is it cute enough for me to understand?
Yeah, your understanding is actually, well, I don't know. You could flavor this how you'd like. Because you do have this intrinsic ability to talk with animals. It is speaking in common, and it does actually seem like Gintilly can understand this fox as well, as it's speaking to you, but as a dwarf that doesn't have this ability, she seems to be getting what it's saying as well.
Okay. So, Gintilly, see how I told you about the fairies? This is the sort of thing that just keeps happening. It's been happening all week. This is not really I mean, it's unusual, but it's unusual in the usual way. Does that make sense?
Should I destroy it? Put it down. I have a woodshed we can go behind.
Well, no, it's kind of cute, and I don't usually like to kill cute things just for fun.
And she's holding like
So,
a
let's let it
big
talk.
like cast iron pan. All right, well, Fox, you better be talking then. I have a bit of a sour taste in my mouth for fairy creatures.
She's really mad, and it's understandable because her daughter just died, and so if she thinks you're partly responsible for that, she'll probably smush you with a pan, and that's completely fair. So maybe we should talk out here.
Oh, neat! No, and like the fox begins blustering, almost to sound like Pouty Lips the merchant. No, I wasn't the one responsible for improving your daughter. No. That was completely. It belongs to a whole other crew. I am just here in order to watch what happens to the world as things occur. And she'll boop, 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 the fox will kind of pat her out to the living room and go sort of like sit nobly on one of the seats.
I go talk to the fox. That's okay. Here, Miss Gintilly, Betty will still help you in the kitchen, but I'm going to talk to this fox for just a minute.
She minds the muffins and lets you go out there. Throughout the conversation, it's very brief, in that it's going to ask you to come back to the Tumbled Wench, as it has revealed itself to Celine. You get the idea that, while not a familiar in the sense that that Peggy Sue is to you, this fairy has been sent by Orlans in order to observe the world through Celine's eyes and experience, in order to take her up on her challenge of how the world is, was, should be, etc.
See, this is why you always have to be really careful about what you say around fairies, because, like, they do silly things with your words.
I know, right? We always do silly things. You'd think people would learn by now, but they don't.
So, it's true. It's something that Celine asked for, so I can't stop you.
Well, thank you.
It's just Celine, though, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I'll only be violating her privacy, as she puts it. Now, if you want, I can look through your eyes, too, but you kind of have to give me permission first.
No, I don't want to do that.
Oh, noted. But if you ever do, let me know.
Okay. Well, so right now we have this problem, which is that we're not actually quite on the same side. I mean, I hope you understand that. So
yeah, you have the blood in you.
I don't want to admit that. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hope that maybe things will get better, and all of this nastiness will be behind us, and then you can totally do it. It'll be fun, and maybe we could even trade. I could see like where you live and how you are and all those fun things. But we can't do that until after all this nastiness is over.
Oh, the things I can show you, Bright. And its eyes just sort of like open up, and it's like for a second you're staring into infinite, like into infinity, and then it blinks again and goes back to big cute anime Ugu fox eyes.
See, that's exactly what I was talking about. That seems really cool, but we're gonna have to table that.
All right, now are you busy here, or can you go help me get the others?
A little both. I mean, I am busy here, but I can probably leave if they need me.
Yes, they do.
Okay. Well, let me go say goodbye to Gintilly then, and then we can go.
Oh, all right.
So I'll do that. So, Miss Gintilly, so this fox, I don't know what to call it. It's just a little blue fox. But she's
Jack.
His name is Jack. I don't know if Jack is a girl or a boy. Usually Jack is a boy, but sometimes it's not. So I would like to go, if that's okay with you, Miss Gintilly.
Yeah, but please be safe. If anyone could resist the temptations of the Fae, it'd be you.
Thank you. And I'm doing my best to resist. And I try to help others resist too. But sometimes things happen where you can't quite resist. That's been happening quite a lot lately. There's only really... Who's the only one that's still really resisting properly? Everyone else is compromised somehow. So
I believe in you. You are always invited here. I may be sad, but ultimately I am happy that there are people as you that are out there doing the right things.
Much, Miss Gintilly. Before I go, do you have other children?
None that are my own from me, though I do take care of some of the other dwarven family's children, a bit like a nursemaid, a bit like a head of the community.
In that case, it's doubly sad, and I'm really sorry. But, so the Blue Fox told me that your daughter might still be alive? Improved, and I don't agree with her position on whether that's an improvement or not. So she's been, I have to be honest with you, she's been turned into like her, and we don't know if that's reversible or not, but we're going to be the first ones to find out, because one of ours people, Mordecai, has kind of gone down that path a little farther than I would have hoped. So if we can reverse it, we'll find out for him, and then she'll be next on our list.
Oh, bless you. Oh, bless you, little bride. And she comes over and gives you, like, she hugs you, and you're squished against her, her very, ample self. 'Cause look, I mean, never trust a skinny cook, and I'll tell you, Gintilly is an excellent cook. So you are hugged by her, and you're coated in flour and sugar and sweet smelling cinnamon and possibly everything you could want, just maybe not the mess.
I enjoy that sort of hug, although I will have to clean myself.
Yeah, you kind of like give up a little of your own. She sets you down, and she gives you, she grabs a kerchief, and it has 24 cookies inside of it, and she says, please take this for the road. Wherever you go, I hope that they'll do you well. And
thank you so much. And I know they're made with love, and also ingredients, so I'm sure they'll be really good. So thank you very much.
Aye, and in full disclosure, perhaps 1 or 2 tears, but I don't want that to bitter the experience. Instead, why don't we try to find the joy in the pain?
I think that's the sort of thing that Celine would be good at. More than me. So we'll do the best we can. So thank you very much, Miss Gintilly. Okay, I have to go now.
And she waves and kind of, like wipes a tear away and cleans her hands off on her apron, but that again just doesn't really seem to do anything. But it's a force of habit. Mordecai and Jade, you are present while this stuff is going on next to Geroff, and the family has gathered as his breathing continues to get shallower and slower, and everyone here, there's people who are crying. There are people who are sad, and then of course there's a couple of the really young ones that don't really know what's happening. So they're playing with toys, they're running around with my first mind pick, kind of a thing, and going to town. But ultimately, it's a positive event for the family. And as they're gathering, they're eating, they're sharing stories. You two are invited to eat as well. But it seems like old Geroff Avalanche here probably isn't going to get up from this nap. And you are welcome to be at this kind of living wake as people watch him pass. There is a knock at the door, and one of the people goes to get it, and Bright, the door's opened up, and they recognize you. maybe not the little blue fox that's following you around, but they tell you, Bright, was it? You can come in, but we think that it's getting to be the final hours for Geroff, and you're welcome to join us for that time if he meant anything to you. Oh, I can't hear you, Bright.
I was on mute. My bad. It was a spell of silence. It's over now. He did. We all looked after him together, but mostly I think I'll need to be there for Jade when he goes. So we'll have to do that.
Okay. Mordecai and Jade, you see Bright toddle in, and she has a little blue fox following behind her that's the size of a cat. And,
my fox. This is Celine's fox.
You have another pet?
It's Celine's.
Oh. So, why is it following you then?
I don't know.
Perhaps it's often during its stuffed and being eaten during the wake. Fox meat would be fantastic right now.
Never had that.
That's probably not a great idea, but if that's what you want to do, okay.
Is it infected?
It'll just come right back to life. So it's not going to help
food
for
rations.
Well, maybe if you want to try that, then go ahead. But I think I brought these
Yeah.
cookies instead, so they'll be tastier.
Yeah, but they don't squirm in your teeth.
Is that a sensation you like when you eat?
How do you know it's fresh if it's not?
Rock is always best when served live.
It's true.
It's a gnomish delicacy.
See, even the short one gets it.
I'm not sure I understand.
You will. You will.
So you are, you all see that there's apparently Celine's fox is in here, which is a sort of like a maybe like a cornflower blue or like a periwinkle, something like that. More like a dusty, lighter blue.
My color.
Oh yeah. Oh hey, that's right, Mordecai. Yeah, Mordecai is that kind of a dusty blue. Bright, you get caught up on things, and it seems like it seems like we're right at the end of that here, and the fox whispers in your ear, Bright. Do you want me to send him off without pain? I can do that.
Oh, I'm. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I appreciate the mercy, but I mean, I could do that too, right? I could just conjure up a magic missile or something, but I'm not going to because it's not the natural way.
Oh.
And something like this should happen the natural way.
No, nothing so barbaric as a magic missile. No, I was just going to release his soul in a puff of colors.
Yeah, I know, but and I do like puffs of colors whenever possible. But I'm gonna still have to go ahead and say no. I don't think it's the right way. Maybe you should ask Celine. She knows more about that sort of thing than me.
I'll have to, but it'll be too late then. So is he almost dead?
Probably.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I'd say it'd probably be at about this point where Celine would probably be wondering where the others are, and the first place she'd probably go looking would be the Avalanche residence, considering she knows how much Jade likes Geroff.
Norlai, would you want to go with Celine? Or would you like to stay behind?
I'll follow Celine, but the whole time I'm going to be convincing her to get an outfit like me.
Okay.
Trying to dress Celine up like a magical girl.
All right. Some time will pass here. We're on Geroff's final breaths. Celine and Noralai show up at the doorstep of the Avalanche residence, and you two are ushered in. You're told what's happening and that this is probably it. You are welcome to have snacks and drinks, and you can share thoughts about Geroff. Because after he passes, there will be, there will be a day of mourning, and then he will be returned to the earth that he worked so hard to help dig and furnish a lifestyle for his family and the Browbeat community and Mesomasca at large. So you're brought in. We're not talking Irish wake here, but there is at least a sense of optimism and positivity at seeing the last living patron of the Avalanche family here in his final time. And it comes down to it comes down to him giving his final breath. Jade, since you are the closest to him as a PC here, you are welcome to say something over him or with him or hold his hand or do something. But you can offer some words as he takes his final rattling breath by the fireside, covered in his family quilt.
All right. Embraced by time, held together by all those threads, generations lay upon his chest. The blanket may be a comfort, perhaps it's a cold press against the lungs, giving them one more thing to fight against as he struggles for the inhale, and then suddenly forced out. Jade can't help but look over him. She sees the light of the fire reflected in his face, the only real movement. Instead, as the old soldier who has traveled hundreds of miles by boat, a faint glimmer of hope, forced to be bedridden and helpless, and when it mattered most, to protect a child, even in his feeble state, he rose up. Against the man-o'-wars, these things that would end up crawling their way through the holes in the ship, he fought. Dying, sickly, and soft. Soul hardened like the stone he chiseled in mind through. Jade can't help but fill his vision. Just recollection. Those remembering the old soldier and the want for family. And maybe, just maybe, someone here might actually hear his goodbye.
All right. So with that, Jade, you speak your piece, and Geroff Avalanche leaves this world behind that has war on the horizon, that has these ancient powers, these rival factions that are returning back and causing chaos or mayhem. It was already a tough place to live, but now it's made all the tougher by all this. And at least someone here has found some peace amidst the madness. As he draws his final breath, gives his final and Geroff Avalanche passes from this world. Oh, one crit. Well, welcome. Thank you for the raid. We just ended this part of the session. We haven't ended tonight's session, but I think I have drank almost all of my water. I'm going to have to go get some more and a snack. So a Dark Wolf is sending him off with an awoo. Carrying the soul off on the wind on an awoo itself. So we are going to take a 10-minute break here, and we'll come back with, well, things have not stopped changing, and we'll see where that is going to take you as you decide where to go next. Volvo says the old man will be missed. Well, if any of you want to, any of you can do, you can press F to pay respects. You can rip a Roni. You can give in a woo to carry his soul on the winds of the wolves out to the heavens, or however you'd like to show respect to Geroff Avalanche. And we'll come back and finish this up. Although before I do, Lethality, are you having to leave at 3:00 tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I will need. Luckily, I don't need to drive across town, but because it's going to be actually at my residence tonight. But I do need to set up here for the Gathering of Nerds stream.
Okay. Do you think that'll be a 4:00 start, or when?
It'll be aiming for 4:30. As soon as we post the link, we should be good to post the link inside the Twitch promotion on the Discord. We should be good to go.
Okay. All right. I wanted to know that to try and plan out. There may be a chance where I might not be able to do an active raid if I have to leave earlier, depending on what happens here this morning. But, you can still post the link up, and I'll make sure to give you a host. So, all right, everyone.
All right, that's...
10-minute break. I have 1:15 a.m., so let's come back at 1:25 a.m., and we'll pick up and continue from this point.
All right, that sounds good.